Have you ever had that eerie feeling that you've lived a moment before? That sudden, overwhelming sense of familiarity that makes you stop and question reality. For most people, déjà vu is just a brief, harmless glitch in the brain. But for some, it has been a terrifying warning, a glimpse into something dark. Here are 3 real-life stories of people who experienced déjà vu in the worst way possible. Story 1. The train station premonition. Jason, a 34-year-old software engineer, was running late for work. As he arrived at the train station, he was hit by an intense wave of déjà vu. He felt like he had been in this exact moment before. Standing in the same spot, wearing the same clothes, watching the same people around him. But something felt off. Then it hit him. In this déjà vu memory, he had seen a woman in a red coat walking too close to the edge of the platform. Just as the train came speeding in his mind he saw her slip. He saw the horror on people's faces. Jason snapped back to reality, his heart pounding. He turned his head. There she was, the woman in the red coat standing dangerously close to the edge, looking at her phone. His breath caught in his throat. Was this just a weird coincidence? Or was he remembering something that hadn't happened yet? He had seconds to decide. Without thinking, he rushed forward and gently pulled the woman back. She barely reacted, just looked at him in confusion. And then, right at that moment, the train roared into the station. But it came in too fast. There was a horrible screech as the brakes failed and the front of the train tilted slightly. People screamed as the train skidded dangerously close to the platform. If the woman had been standing just an inch closer, she would have been pulled under. Jason stood frozen, his mind racing. He had seen it all before, but instead of watching it happen this time, he had changed it. Story 2. The road that shouldn't exist. Megan and her husband were driving through the countryside, heading home from a weekend trip. It was late, and the roads were nearly empty. As they approached an unfamiliar stretch of highway, Megan suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of déjà vu. She had seen this road before. The cracked pavement, the faded yellow lines, the old gas station on the right. But there was one problem. She had never been on this road in her life. Her stomach twisted with unease. She turned to her husband. "This road isn't safe," she whispered. He laughed it off. "It's just a highway, Meg. Relax." But she couldn't. The déjà vu was so strong it made her dizzy. She remembered something else now, something terrifying. In this exact moment in her mind, she saw a pair of headlights appearing out of nowhere, and then the deafening sound of a crash. Without thinking, she screamed, "Stop the car!" Her husband, startled, slammed on the brakes. A split second later, a massive truck with its headlights off came speeding past, missing them by inches. They sat there, shaken and breathless. If they had kept driving, they would have been hit head-on. Megan couldn't explain how she had known. But one thing was certain. Déjà vu had saved her life. Story 3. The room that wasn't empty. Daniel had just moved into a new apartment. It was small, nothing fancy, but perfect for a fresh start. The first night as he unpacked his things, he walked into the bedroom and was hit by a wave of déjà vu so strong that nearly knocked him off his feet. He had been here before, but that wasn't possible. He had never set foot in this apartment before signing the lease. Yet, as he stood in the bedroom doorway, memories flooded his mind. Memories of being in this exact room, but with something else there. Something lurking in the corner. Daniel shook his head, trying to shake off the feeling. He told himself it was just exhaustion. He continued unpacking, forcing himself to ignore the sense of unease. But when he turned to leave the bedroom, something made him stop. The closet door. It was open now. He was sure he had closed it earlier. A chill ran down his spine. Slowly, he walked toward the closet. The déjà vu was back, stronger than ever, warning him, screaming at him to leave. But he had to see. Heart pounding, he reached for the door and swung it open. Nothing. The closet was empty, but just as he let out a relieved breath, something whispered behind him, a cold breath on his neck. He ran out of the room and never slept there again. 2 weeks later, he learned the truth. The previous tenant had died in that very room, found lifeless in the closet, and now Daniel knew why he had felt like he had been there before. Conclusion: déjà vu. A simple brain glitch, a trick of the mind, or something more. Something we don't fully understand. For some, it's just a passing feeling. For others, it's a warning, a second chance or a glimpse into a reality they were never meant to see. The next time you feel déjà vu, don't ignore it. It might just be trying to tell you something.